What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another roster review. Today we're looking at the January roster update for NHL 21. Basically, it covers all the moves that happened over the past month, with teams kind of getting ready for the start of the season. So there's not too many rating changes, but there's tons of transactions that went down. Obviously, you have trades, signings, retirements, tons of different stuff. So if you guys still don't know how to download the new roster, you go down to rosters there on the main menu. Click active roster, then you're going to click A on the newest roster to download it. The roster you're looking for is January 20, 2021. As you can see, I already have it downloaded. Also, a lot of people ask me how they get their created players onto the new roster. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is hover over your custom roster that has your created players, click Y on Xbox or Triangle PlayStation to merge it with the current online roster. So January 20th, you click Y again. If you did it right, you should get a new custom roster with the new date. You can see custom roster for January 21. So to show you guys that it worked, I'll show you all the created players I have. Now the one thing is you have to reassign them to their new team. So you can see New Hook here. I need to still put on the Colorado. Romanov I can now delete as he's included with the new roster update. Bobby Brink, etc. Cole Caulfield, I have to put these guys all back on their team, but it's better of course than losing them. So I'm going to get into the roster now, guys. Like I said, it's mostly transaction based. Not a whole lot of rating changes, but there were some, so I'm going to point them out as I think it's pretty significant. A lot of them were definitely needed. So I'm just going to go through team by team. We'll start off with the skaters here. So the Anaheim Ducks, I almost said Mighty Ducks. I don't think really anything happened. Maybe a couple guys got called up, but overall they've stayed the same. Arizona Coyotes, same thing. I mean, Derek Stepan's no longer on the team, of course. You got traded to Ottawa Senators. Got traded for a second-round pick, so I don't think they really got anything back. But that will be reflected now in franchises, of course, before. Even if you sent Stepan to Ottawa, Arizona wouldn't be getting that second. Now, looking at Boston here, again, I don't really think anything happened. Maybe a couple guys, got called up from the AHL team. But I just figured I'd just kind of go through the lineup to make sure I don't miss anything, as sometimes I do. I'm human. There's 600 players in the NHL, so it's hard to keep track of all of them. But Dylan Cousins here is actually our first ratings change. He got a boost from a 76 to a 78, probably due to his good performance at the World Juniors and the fact that he actually made the NHL team. So you can see he's now a 78 there with high top 6. I definitely like that. I think him being a 76 was a little underrated. You can see Riley Sheehan here as well, now in the Sabres, as they did sign him. Goaltending wise, you can see Johansson got called up when Allmark wasn't playing. So again, a lot of transaction stuff, not too much ratings. Calgary here, trying to think anything recently happened with them. I don't think so. Was Nesterov? I think Nesterov was there before. We're looking at the Carolina Hurricanes now. Dougie Hamilton, still an 85. I think he was my #1 underrated player in the game. I would have liked to see him get a boost, make him an 89 or 90 with high elite potential, but that's fine, I guess. Looking at Chicago Blackhawks now, so for them, I'm trying to think what has happened. I know they actually called up one guy who was in college. See if I can find him. Ian Mitchell here. He was playing at the University of Denver. 21 years old, 75 overall, medium top 6. I think that's pretty fair rating potential for him. I feel like a couple of these guys probably got called up from the AHL. The Avalanche here. McCarr's still an 85, which means he's still one overall below Quinn Hughes. I don't know how I feel about that. I think they should be the same rating. If not, McCarr should be the one that's one higher, but it's fine, I guess. Next, you're looking at the Columbus Blue Jackets. Pierre-Luc Dubois. I checked franchise. He's not on the trade block or anything. That would be kind of funny, though, if you go into franchise. They already have him on the block. But yeah, I don't think any changes to Columbus, really. Same goes for Dallas. I mean, they haven't even played an NHL game yet. Kamano, I feel like he might have gotten called up. So again, when they call a guy up from the AHL, the NHL doesn't really matter. It's more when it's a guy from Russia or the college who wasn't in the game before getting added. That's where it actually matters. So for instance, Detroit has that guy from Europe. Where is he? Brame, I'm not even sure if I said his name right. It's pretty bad. I think he was in the game before, though. They just have him on the Red Wings roster now. Edmonton. Cuckoo, I think they actually had to add to the team. I'm not sure if he was there on the latest roster update. Now looking at the Florida Panthers here, unfortunately, Denisenko is not in the games. He hasn't played an NHL or AHL game yet. Same goes for Zegras. I should have mentioned that when I was showing Anaheim. He hasn't played a professional game yet, so they can't add him to the roster, but once he does, hopefully they can get him in. I know, though, it's a lot easier when it's an NHL game opposed to an AHL game, so hopefully the Ducks just call him up and have him play an NHL game. I still for sure get added to NHL 21 a lot sooner that way. You'll see on the LA Kings, Dougie there, still a 91. Even with everyone kind of, ripping on EA, making fun of them for that rating, they have not changed it. So like I said, there's about a handful of guys that did get a rating change or potential change. I wish they would have spent a bit more time. Kaprizov here, so this is a big one. Before I had to make him have him in the game. He's now in the game, of course, coming from Russia. Really good start to his career already. So he's a 23-year-old, 83 overall forward, medium elite potential. Was playing well in the KHL. I really like this rating and potential. I think it's actually one of the better ones for new players in the roster. I think when I made him, I had him as an 82 medium elite, so it's pretty similar. Really nice hands there, good shot, good skater. Honestly, yeah, the defense is not bad. Physical is probably his lowest attribute. Very, very similar to the Kaprizov that I made. I think from Minnesota, that's probably the only change. But again, I just wanted to kind of scroll through quickly every single team in case I missed something. Montreal here. Nick Suzuki, 83 medium top 6. I'm sure some people want him to be medium elite already. I think high top 6, though, is pretty fair for him. Let me see. So there's a big one, obviously. And that is, where is he? Alexander Romanov. So they made him a 77 medium top 4. I made him a 78 high top 4. I think that's a bit more fair. As you guys will see, there's other players that I think Romanov's better than in terms of being a prospect who are similar rated to him. You can see hands are alright, shots alright, decent defense, good skater, decent physical as well. I feel like he could be a tad better with a tad more potential, but it's not, too bad of a rating. Nashville here, obviously. Granlund signed with the team. Same with Howla. Luke Kunin's got his new contract, like I mentioned. All the transactional stuff, all those guys that signed, had new contracts, that's all done. I think they got Spizov waivers from the Jets, so they made sure to put that through. You can see Tolvanen still medium elite. That's dumb. He should be medium top 6. If you guys look at the Leafs, I think Lodrigan's still medium elite. So the Devils here, I'm trying to think if anything in the last month or so happened with the Devils. I mean, Corey Crawford retired, so Corey Crawford's no longer in the game, as far as I could tell. Sharangovich, is he new? I don't even know. The Islanders here, so for the Islanders, I don't think, Barzal got his contract, I think that's happened in the last month. Timashov obviously too, you can see his sign there. They got Andy Green signed, same with Matt Martin, he'll show up somewhere, there we go. Also you can see Johnny Boychuk's salary's been reduced to $700K, he's essentially LTIR retired, so that makes sense. Now I actually want to look at the Islanders defense here. So Mayfield's still a 79, Pellet's still a 78. That's pretty dumb. Also, I'll just show it right now so I don't forget. Ilya Sorokin, 80 overall, medium starter. This one I think they definitely got wrong. Shout out to Harrison who said I was underrating Sorokin when I made him an 83 medium elite. EA doing this is just disrespectful because everything I read from scouting reports from obviously KHL people was that Sorokin and Shesterkin were very similar in skill. Shesterkin, 86 high elite, Sorokin, 80 medium starter. Now you're going to say, Shesterkin played in the NHL last year. He played 13 games in the NHL. I think Shesterkin's overrated and Sorokin's underrated. How they did that, I don't know. You can see Corey Schneider's also on the Islanders now. So again, all the transactional stuff they made sure to do. Looking at the Rangers here, Lafreniere's now on the Rangers. That was a big one. People were kind of complaining about when the game first came out. There's actually a new player on the Rangers as well, defenseman Condre Miller. So I actually had him created. I can delete him. 19 years old, 77 overall, medium top 4. Very, very similar to what I had him at. I think I had him as a 74, so I had him a few lower just because, he hadn't been in the NHL yet. Wasn't sure if he was going to make the team. Offensive defenseman, I think I had him a 2-way. Decent hands, pretty good shot, decent physical. Honestly, looking at his stats, I guess his defensive stats honestly aren't that great, which is why I had him as more of a 2-way with a bit better defensive stats, but they seem as more of an offensive guy. Gauthier 73 should definitely be higher, he's played in the NHL. Now, Ottawa, there's actually a lot of stuff happening here. They traded for Derek Steffen. I think, did they sign Galchenyuk before the last roster update? I'm not sure. Now, this next one's a big one. Tim Stützle gets a huge upgrade from 70 to 79. It's actually one of the biggest upgrades. Why he was a 70 after going 3rd overall makes no sense. Raymond was picked 1 after him. He was a 77. Clearly, there was something wrong. I'm glad they got the upgrade done. I don't know why it couldn't have been done sooner, but you can see he's now a 79 medium elite. Sick hands on him. Good skater, solid shot. So yeah, Stützle is actually going to be a good prospecting game. When he was a 70, it was so dumb. So really glad to see that. Philly here, I don't think I'm missing much because Gus Bear still being 84 medium elite. The dude's getting scratched all the time. I don't really know about that one. Again, I just think some AHL call-ups for them. So Pittsburgh next here. Again, looking through, they'll have the Marino contract. Where is he? Still low top 6, you gotta love that. Marino should be a medium top 4 minimum, if not high top 4, making $4.4 million. that's just going to be a terrible contract in franchise, even though in real life it could turn out to be a good one. San Jose Sharks here, just going through all this. I don't think like anything, you know, big, or I guess Balsers, I believe they got off of waivers. St. Louis Blues here, Mike Hoffman, you can see he's now on the team, signed for $4 million. I think that's it. Also, they dropped Steen's contract to $700K, so he's also LTIR retired, similar to Johnny Boychuk, so just pointing that out as it will affect franchise. Now, Tampa Bay is an interesting one because they're like $10 million over the salary cap in real life before using LTIR. Basically, every single contract on their team is $1 million less than franchise. Like, I already checked it out. Kucherov's only making 8.5, Hedman 6.7, so a lot of these guys already had great bargain deals like points, so he's now making 5.7. So basically, Tampa Bay was already a beast in franchise. Now they're even better because their players are on even better deals. Now, one I was looking at, Chernak, still a 78. I really wish they could have upgraded him. I feel like that was a pretty egregious one that needed upgraded, but what are you going to do? Maple Leafs here, I'm trying to think anything that happened recently. Travis Boyd. Romanov here, I think, is a new player. You can see 26 years old, 75 overall, high bottom 6. I think that's fair. Robertson they got on the Leafs there. Now, Canucks actually do have a big upgrade. If I can find them for you guys. Before that, though, you can see Hamnick's now on the team, obviously. They signed him recently. Yolevi 79. I think that might be an upgrade. I want to say he was 75 before. So he gets a little bit of a +4 there. They're always looking out for the Canucks. Same goes for Hoglander, now a 75. I believe before Hoglander was like a 67, 68, maybe even lower than that. Maybe a 71, but he's definitely got an upgrade now, 75, which makes sense. He made the NHL team. So Canucks, a couple upgrades there. Vegas Golden Knights here. I'm trying to think. Don't actually know. That looks pretty good. I don't think they've really had anything change. The Washington Capitals here, of course, signed Zdeno Chara, who's still an 84 overall. I think that's a bit high for a guy that the Bruins didn't bring back. If Chara's an 84, the Bruins bring him back, so I think he should be like max 82. And lastly here, we have the Winnipeg Jets. Just want to, again, scroll through quickly here. Trevor Lewis, I think they signed. And is that Harkins? Might have gotten called up or something. And I think that's it. So I'll look at goalies now quick. I'll basically just show you guys goalies have actually changed. One thing to note, I guess, would be Washington still has Lundqvist on the team, even though he's not playing this year. But it's kind of tough because he's not a free agent. Like, he does belong to Washington, but he's not playing. So I think they should have lowered his rating because right now he's the starter for Washington when it should be Samsonov. It doesn't really make sense. So I think they should just, like, lowered his rating. It makes more sense, I think, than having him as the starter. You can see they also have Anderson there. Now added the team. No changes on Pittsburgh, but I love how DeSmith is the same rating as Jerry. Like, last year, Jerry beat out Murray for the starting role, whereas DeSmith was the AHL starter. I don't think they're the same caliber goalie, but maybe I'm wrong. I already showed you guys, but again, Sorokin's now added the Islanders, which is a big one. I guess I could show you his stats there in case you're wondering. Also, they got Schneider now. Devils, like I mentioned, no longer have Corey Crawford. They got Aaron Dell off waivers from the Leafs. I think they got Comrie off waivers from somebody as well. So they lost Crawford, picked up a couple goalies. But as it turns out, Blackwood's playing really good for them. So looks like they didn't even really need Crawford, to be honest. Also in Edmonton here, they got Grosnick as the third goalie with Smith getting injured. 78 overall, I feel he was not before. He's way too random of a player for me to remember, but I think he might have gotten an upgrade. Also, this Johansson guy in Buffalo, now it's 77 overall as he got called up when Allmark wasn't playing. I feel like he wasn't a 77 overall before, but again, I'm not too sure. And lastly, Ryan Miller here on the Anaheim Ducks. I believe they signed him recently, so he went from free agency to being added to the Ducks. Speaking of that, I think I actually want to show you guys what free agency looks like now. As before, like, free agency was pretty crazy because there were just so many good players still in it. Like, you had Sami Vatanen, who I forgot to show, obviously on the Devils now, Granlund, Howla, just tons of guys. So I feel like the free agent players look a lot more like the free agent players now. Another one was Mike Hoffman, 85 overall, just sitting there. Someone could sign for free. Dustin Byfuglien's still there, 87 overall. I would definitely advise you to lower his rating. I usually make him an 83. I think that's pretty fair for a guy who's sat out hockey almost 2 seasons now. And to do that, it's pretty simple. You just click on his name, trade him to any team, edit his stats while he's on that team, and then put him back in free agency. Jimmy Howard there, Grabner, Johnson, McGinn. Again, tons of guys retired. I have a list here, but Corey Crawford already mentioned. You got Jake Bomeister, Colin Wilson. He was like an 81 still in game. Callahan, Letestu, Englund, Daly, Hansel, Justin Williams, Adam McQuaid. I think there's a Wojciech Wolski. There's a few others I'm missing, but free agency pool I think definitely looks a lot better now. And next year, guys, I'm going to show you a handful of prospects that have had their rating changed All of these guys I mentioned to EA as really needing a change. They just didn't represent the player in real life at all. I wish they would have changed more, but when people ask like, what do I do as a game changer? All these guys I'm going to show you are literally like at the top of a list I made that, you know, for guys that needed a rating change. Hopefully they can get to the rest of the players, but I'm happy that at least, you know, they changed some of them. So starting off, this is one I've mentioned since last year, but Trevor Wong, no disrespect, he had medium elite potential for with 65 overall, was basically making him a top 5 player in the 2021 draft, which he is not. Just didn't make sense. Now he's medium top 9, which you could still even argue might be still a bit high rated for him, but it's definitely a lot more realistic. Now one that they didn't change, you know, if you go to Edmonton Oil Kings, you'll see Justin Williams there is a 62 medium top 6, and if I click on him here, you can see he went undrafted. Now, Jake Neighbors' first round pick last year, he's got medium top 9. So, still some work to be done on these rosters for sure. I'm looking at Cole Sillinger here. He hasn't had a rating change, but I'm pretty sure he didn't have a game face before. If he did, my bad, but I don't remember it. Seth Jarvis here is actually a 65 overall now. I believe before he was like a 59, which made no sense. He still needs to be medium top 6, but that's a lot easier to change than his rating, so good to see them do that. Also, for anyone wondering, Connor Bedard is still not in the game. If you go to Regina Pats, you'll see he is not there. Reason being, he hasn't played a game in the WHL yet. He's actually on loan right now in Sweden, but it's like the Sweden under-20 league, not the actual SHL, which EA does have the rights to, so unfortunately just isn't in the game yet, but hopefully they can make that happen. Now looking at the OHL here, guys, you'll see Jamie Drysdale still medium top 4, which makes no sense to me. 6th overall pick, looked great at the World Juniors. He should be medium elite. Also, too, in regards to Shane Wright, he's still medium elite, and Autry Ratcher's a high elite. Shane Wright's pretty much the consensus first overall pick for 2022. He's being compared to McDavid. He needs to be minimum high elite, if not medium franchise, where Autry Ratcher might not get picked in the top 10, and he's high elite. So, again, some things, you know, need to be changed, especially too in regards to Drysdale. Merkley's a medium elite. Drysdale, I think you can say, is a better prospect for sure than Merkley. I'm sure someone's going to argue that now, but just trust me. Now, this is awesome to see. This needed to be done. Jack Quinn before was like a 58, low top 9. Now he's actually representing his 8th overall pick, 66, medium top 6. Like, before it just made absolutely no sense. I'm wondering, he's got an awesome shot. How's the shot look? They tried. They tried. He should have such a better shot than that. I know he's only like a 66, but he should have like 85 slap shot power, 83-ish shot power, and then his wrist shot accuracy should be like a 76 or higher. Slap shot needs to be higher than 71. Again, I know he's low rated, but his big thing is the shot. So at least he's higher rated now, because before it was worse than that, but come on. Also, some other things I want to show you guys in the European leagues. Noel Gunler there, still a two-way forward, should definitely be a sniper. Soderstrom now actually has a picture. I don't think he had one before, but Patrick Berglund's picture, I am 99% sure that is not Patrick Berglund. So, good try, I guess. Same goes with player types. Holzler's a two-way forward. He needs to be a sniper. Raymond, who is a sniper, needs to be a two-way forward. They basically mixed them up. Anulea here, hopefully I said that right. Jesper Wallstedt's now in the game. Now, they actually added him with the last roster update, but I just wanted to point out he's a medium starter. The dude's going to go top 10, maybe top 5. Medium starter, I saw it in the draft. He goes 4th round. This guy needs to be medium. He might go top 5, and he's a medium starter. Like, he needs to be bare minimum medium elite, if not a franchise goalie. Like, it doesn't matter. Even when he is franchise, he goes like 13th, 14th in the draft, and he doesn't really get higher than a 90 anyways. Now, in regards to Autry Ratcher, I already mentioned this. They still have him as a high elite potential, which makes no sense. That's equivalent to Matthews, Eichel, like legit top picks. I haven't seen anyone projecting him to go in the top 5 in like the past 6 months. Most people have him in like the 8 to 11 range. Highly just makes no sense for me. And lastly, guys, I want to show you some players in the Dell. As you can see, Alex Turcotte's still on Berlin, as he hasn't played an AHL or NHL game yet. But if you guys didn't know, they added him, I think, 1 or 2 roster updates ago. 77 medium elite, I think, is pretty good for him. Same goes for Tyler Madden, 1 or 2 roster updates ago. 2069 low top 6 isn't too bad. I can see Lucas Reichel below them, 64 medium top 9. Mid first rounder, I'm not sure about that one. Now, on that same note, I was looking for him in the Ice League here, playing for Red Bull. A guy that played really well at the World Juniors on Germany, on a line with Stützle, definitely deserved an upgrade. John Jason Peterka here, 55 low top 9. I think that's exact same rating potential that Jack Quinn had. Wasn't picked 8th overall, but he was taken 34th overall, and again, I think he was over a point per game at the World Juniors. I just checked to make sure, and yeah, he had 12 points in 8 games, so hopefully next roster update, he gets an upgrade along with a bunch of others. But that's me, guys, for this video. In regards to like the roster review, I think my final grade for this one is like a C-. As they did all the transactional stuff, which obviously they have to do, so like the minimum passing grade would be a D, but then they did, you know, change some players' ratings, like Jack Quinn, who severely needed it, so that kind of bumps them up to a C-, as it only, like I said, a handful of guys that really got a rating change, just the ones that, you know, needed it the most. I really wish they could have, you know, changed some other ratings that we pointed out, but yeah, so overall roster update, I'd give it a C-. Definitely some good things, but just has me wanting more. Let me know what you guys think about all the new player ratings and the changes in the comment section below. But other than that, guys, that's me for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.